Hello, my dear friend. If you want to improve your English, you're in the right place. Welcome to English Legacy. Today we're going to tell the story of April 1st. Have you ever thought, where did this day come from? Let's say this right away. Nobody knows exactly how April 1st started. Historians have been debating for centuries. The calendar changed. Things got confusing. According to the most widely accepted theory, the root of this tradition go back to a major calendar change in the 16th century. Back then, New Year's in Europe wasn't celebrated on January 1st. It was celebrated at the beginning of spring. So around late March, early April. The celebrations would last until about April 1st. It makes sense, actually. Nature was waking up. Everything was starting fresh. Then in 1564, King Charles IX of France made a big decision. New Year's would now be January 1st. Back then, there was no internet, no phone, no television. A messenger on horseback and gossip were enough to spread the news. It took months, even years, for people in every corner of France to hear about this change. Some people continued to celebrate New Year's in early April for years. These people slowly started to become the target of jokes. Those who adopted the new calendar mocked those who kept their old habits. They gave them fake gifts, invited them to parties that didn't exist. Similar traditions exist in different parts of the world, going back much further in time. In ancient Rome, there was a festival called Hilaria. It was celebrated at the end of March. People wore costumes, tricked each other, and played jokes in the streets. Nobody took anyone seriously. In India, there's Holi. This festival, where colorful powders are thrown, is also celebrated at the beginning of April. People paint each other, play jokes, and have fun. And then there's Iran. On the 13th day of the Iranian New Year Nowruz, around April 2nd, people go outside, have picnics, and play jokes. Iranians say this tradition has a 2,500-year history. England made it bigger. France started this tradition, but England gets the real credit for spreading April 1st to the whole world. Over time, the English carried this tradition everywhere they went, especially to America, and so April 1st spread all over the world. The biggest pranks in history. When talking about April 1st, we can't skip the most memorable pranks in history. 1957. BBC's Spaghetti News. BBC aired a report on England's most respected news program showing Swiss farmers harvesting spaghetti. On screen, people were picking pasta from trees, saying, "The winter was mild this year. The spaghetti quality is very good." And people believed it. Viewers called the BBC asking where they could find a spaghetti tree. Back then, spaghetti wasn't yet a very common food in England. People genuinely didn't know whether it grew on trees or not. 1976. Gravity is decreasing. A well-known astronomer on BBC Radio said this: "At exactly 9:47 in the morning, two planets would align in a rare way. This would temporarily reduce Earth's gravity, and anyone who jumped at that moment would stay in the air longer than normal." At 9:47, thousands of people jumped. Then they called the BBC. Some said, "I felt a really strange feeling." The prank was so convincing that people wanted to believe it. And they did. Why do we love playing pranks so much? Experts say that playing pranks is actually a way of building a bond between people. To play a prank on someone, you need to know them. You need to know when they'll laugh and when to stop. That's why the best pranks come from the people closest to us. Being able to take a joke is also a skill. Not taking yourself too seriously. Being able to accept feeling a bit silly for a moment. These are good things. Its connection to spring is no coincidence either. Winter was long and hard. Spring came, the sun came out. And people wanted to laugh, to feel light, to act a little like children. April 1st became a reflection of that feeling. People prank the ones they love. Have you ever thought about why we don't prank everyone? You wouldn't randomly prank your boss. You wouldn't prank a stranger either. But you'd prank your closest friend, your sibling, your partner. And you'd both laugh. That's no coincidence. To prank someone, you need to know them. You need to know when they'll laugh. You need to know where to stop. And that's actually a deep thing. Playing a prank means saying, I know you well enough. It's a kind of sign of closeness. Experts agree. Laughing together brings people closer. That moment of laughter after a prank is basically saying, I'm this comfortable with you. That's why a good prank doesn't make someone angry. It actually brings you closer. Of course, there's a fine line here. A good prank doesn't make the other person feel small. It just makes them laugh. If someone ends up embarrassed or hurt at the end of a prank, it's not a prank anymore. The best pranks are the ones where both people laugh. April 1st is perhaps loved for this reason. It's not just a day of pranks, it's actually a fun way of saying, I love you, I want to laugh with you. Final words. That's April 1st for you. No definite beginning, no single founder, no official decision. Calendars changed, seasons turned, people laughed. And one day this tradition existed everywhere. Nobody told you, you must prank someone today. Nobody made it a rule. People just laughed, kept going, and the tradition lived on by itself. We've reached the end of today's story. If you enjoyed our video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. You can write in the comments what content you'd like to see on our channel in the future. See you next time.